Welcome to Unposed. This show is made possible by the generosity of Mrs. Kristen Collier, her belief in this project, and her faith in the message behind it. Her support helped bring Unposed into the world, and it does not go unnoticed. I'm Amber Lane, an award-winning boudoir photographer, an official confidence coach, and creator of a supportive online women's group that's been thriving since 2017. Today, I want to share something I've been calling my 15-year theory. Now, it's not scientific. There's no peer-reviewed journal backing this up. It's just something I started noticing in my own life that slowly, almost accidentally, turned into a pattern. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Here's the basic premise. In my experience, there seems to be about a 15-year window where we move from being embarrassed by a former version of ourselves to being almost protective of them. 15 years, give or take. Anything more than 15 years in the past, we start looking at that version of ourselves with a softer lens. Anything more recent, we're still cringing. I first started noticing this around 26. When I was 12, 13, 14, I was mortified of that girl. Mortified of the outfits, mortified of the photos, mortified of how awkward I looked, the obvious bad choices I made, how hard I tried to fit in instead of being true to myself. And then somewhere in my mid-20s, something shifted. Instead of embarrassment, I started feeling compassion. I would look at photos of 13-year-old Amber, and instead of thinking, oh my God, why were you like that? I started thinking, oh, this sweet girl. Like I wanted to sit next to her, and I wanted to explain things to her, and I wanted to protect her. And that was a real glass-shattering moment for me. Now, at nearly 40, I've watched that shift repeat itself over and over again. Versions of me I used to judge, I now feel proud of. Versions of me I used to cringe at, I now just want to hug. I can see how hard she was trying. I can see what she didn't know yet. I can see how much she was just surviving. And I can see how every single one of those versions helped create the woman that I am today. What's wild is this. The more I've practiced looking at my past self with compassion, the more it's changed how I look at myself now. Because if 35-year-old Amber can look back at 20-year-old Amber with softness, then maybe 55-year-old Amber is already looking at me right now with that same softness. That idea alone changes how I treat myself today. I've always been someone who resonates with the idea of non-linear time. I know that sounds kind of sci-fi, but sit with me for a second while I explain what I mean. I don't experience myself as just this current version. I feel connected with 5-year-old me. I feel connected with 17-year-old me, 22-year-old me, 32-year-old me. They're all still here. I tell my partner all the time, we'll be in the middle of a conversation and suddenly I'll see a younger version of him. Maybe it's one I knew personally, maybe it's one I only heard about through stories, but there he is, suddenly just pops up in the middle of our conversation. And I think we carry ourselves with us all the time, influencing our decisions and tastes and choices all the time, subconsciously. We just don't always let those previous parts come to the surface. With that concept in mind, sometimes I get to do things that kind of feel like time travel. Going to the ballet for 5-year-old me, or buying the pink crop top I wasn't allowed to wear at 17, or reading a book on Greek mythology that 12-year-old Amber would have absolutely devoured. Every day, surface level things like that, little bits of joy that add up to a bigger, happier, more self-satisfied picture overall. And then there are the deeper layers. Forgiving myself for things that I did when I didn't have the language or the emotional maturity I have now. Giving grace to the girl who reacted the only way she knew how to at the time. Recognizing that growth doesn't make past versions of you stupid. It just means you kept learning. And here's the part that really shifted things for me. We're constantly healing our future selves too, making decisions that alter our future timeline. Every time we invest in our education, every time we take a moment to reflect on ourselves and our actions or go to therapy, every time we move our body, every time we choose a hard boundary, every time we take care of our mental health, we're sending resources forward in time. or making life easier for someone we haven't met yet, but is still us. So this way, time feels layered to me. Past, present, future, all happening in conversation with each other. And I personally think that's really beautiful. Here's the practical application. If you can look at yourself from 15 years ago with compassion instead of embarrassment, that's rehearsal. That's practice. Because one day you will be 15 years removed from who you are right now. And if you can learn to look backward with softness, you can learn to look at your present self through that same softened lens. Instead of, I should know better, try, she's doing the best she can with what she has. Instead of, I can't believe I did that, try, she didn't have the tools yet. We can practice giving ourselves what we actually needed in those moments: patience, understanding, context. And that practice spills into how we treat other people too, because if you can see your own growth across time, it's easier to believe in someone else's capacity for growth, or give someone the benefit of the doubt rather than assuming the worst without reason. This isn't about excusing harm. It's not about rewriting history. It's not about pretending everything was okay when it wasn't. It's about releasing unnecessary shame. It's about not carrying embarrassment as a personality trait. It's about letting yourself evolve without punishing former versions of you for existing. So here's what I'm curious about. Is there a version of you that you used to cringe at that you now feel protective of? Is there a more recent version of yourself that you're still judging? What would it feel like to fast forward 15 years and borrow that compassion now? I genuinely would love to hear your thoughts on this. If this resonated, if it made you think about a specific age or memory, I'd love for you to share it. Comment, send me a message, tag me, whatever feels right. And if you're enjoying Unposed, make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen so you don't miss future episodes. Leaving a review helps other women find this space and means more than you know. As always, thank you for being here. We are all just moving through time together, and I think we can do it a little more gently. I'm Amber Lane, this is Unposed, and I'll see you next time.